Hey! Disco discats and 8-track cassettes from around this great disco world. It's your boy from Chicago, Illinois, Dad What a Man Stew, bringing you the intro for the 11th annual 2025 Indy Awards. But here's your true host from the East Coast, a man who is the second best dressed person here tonight, none other than DJ Smokey. Take it away. Hey, I take offense to that. Second best dressed person here tonight? Now you know I'm the first because I dress sharp for the field, you feel me? But besides all of that, welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the biggest night of the year for Music Village Radio, the 11th annual 2025 Indy Awards. I am your host from the East Coast, DJ Smokey, flanked by the MC of the night, and bringing the award delight, Dan the What a Man Stew, and of course the man bringing the musical delight, none other than Carl the Maestro over in the corner spinning those beautiful musical tunes that you hear in the background right now. And it definitely sets the mood, and it definitely gets things hyped around here. And remember, folks, this is just night one of a 2-night extravaganza filled with awards featuring the best tracks, the best creators, the best screenshots and whatnots, and plenty of others that will be mentioned throughout the entirety of this night. And Carl and Maestro said it would be a good idea this year to actually mention which awards will be featured for tonight. Alright, I think this will be the first time he's done this, but I'll give it a spin. So, ladies and gentlemen, for night one for the Indy Awards, we will see, kicking things off, none other than the Indy Story of the Year, followed up by the Screenshot of the Year, even the Blacksmoke Billy Stunt of the Year Award, followed up by the Golden Cast Award, determining who was the greatest person who got hurt this year, and that's the reason why it's a Golden Cast. And finally, last but not least, to wrap things up for the night before we gotta do it again in another 24 hours, none other than the GTA Online Top Track of the Year. And the 9th annual award winner for that award, too. So with that explanation given perfectly, folks, I think it's time for us to waste no time and head directly into the first award of the night, which is none other than the Indy Story of the Year, right after a word from our comedic movie sponsors. So don't lose your seat in the said opera house just yet, folks, and stay tuned. After being falsely accused for murdering the matriarch of a family, one woman brings the man back to life to find the true killers of the matriarch. Lucy Liu, Bing Graves, and DJ Smokey in The Gravekeeper. Prepare to dig a grave for revenge this summer, coming soon to a theater near you. Right, ladies and gentlemen, and especially you award nominees out there tonight, welcome back to the 11th annual 2025 Indy Awards. And you know something? It's hard to believe I've been doing this for well over 11 long years for this award show that first started with only 4 awards and grew into this monster that can't be contained by one night. And secondly, I didn't know I was featured in a movie with Ving Rhames and Lucy Liu, but I do appreciate the honor. I wanted to direct that film, but apparently according to Carl and the Maestro and the guy who does the announcements, it would be better if I was in it as the actual caretaker who put the curse on the person. Really? That's who I played? I thought it was the actual Gravekeeper. Huh, news to me. And speaking of news to me, folks, and to tie it in with this said award show, I think it's time for us to find out who was the one who was the story of the year with the award of the Indy Story of the Year, which is presented to one winner who proved that their story was so massive that it was bigger than what has happened in the past calendar year, from elections to other crazy things from around the world that will most likely make someone's rip their hair out. Yeah, the best way to describe it. So, Dan the Weatherman Stu, if you will, please read off the nominees for this year's Indy Story of the Year. And here are your nominees for this year's Indy Story of the Year. Elmo's Rough Year Ahead. And it doesn't get any rougher than this. Dan the Weatherman Stu, I would have to beg to differ, but for Elmo, 3 days into the new year and you're already getting attacked on stage by none other than Larry David for no apparent reason? Yeah, that's bad. But if you think that's bad after getting attacked on the Good Morning America show for no apparent reason, then you would go forward to see him reuniting with Rocco after being a part of a dating show online. Yikes. And that would wrap up his year, and that's saying something. I feel for Elmo, I really do, especially after the fact that he had to kiss and make up with Rocco after he had to give up his cookie to Rocco, too. Ugh. Rough year, man. Rough year. Hopefully it gets better. Next, the nominee, Carl and the Maestro, or should I say Dan the Weatherman Stu. Liquid Death wins a jet. Wait a minute, I read that wrong. Yes, Dan the Weatherman Stu, you did read it wrong, because for you fans out there of Liquid Death, they were actually handing out to the select winner a winner of a jet. Yeah, they were handing out a jet plane to a winner of their said contest for Liquid Death. And funny enough, and a surprise news story, they were not lying, because none other than Zach from North Carolina would win the said fighter jet that would be able to be handed out from Liquid Death. And yes, if you're wondering at home, the jet is an Aero L-39 Albatross. And of course, alongside with it would win well over $250,000 cash and 6 months of hangar storage for the said jet. And if you think that's crazy, folks, the way he won was with 30,000 entries. 30,000! That's insane! The Wu-Tang saga continues! Ay, ay, ay. Yeah, Dan the Weatherman Stu, for those who thought that after well over a decade of trying to get a CD back from a person who calls himself a farmer bro, which sounds as stupid as this whole situation here, is absolutely insane. But to bring people up to speed of what's been going on thus far, first off, Martin Shkreli, who would decide to get the once-in-a-lifetime album from the Wu-Tang Clan of Once Upon a Time in Shaolin, would celebrate an inauguration of a certain president by playing the said song on air, no void breaching the contract for the said CD, for the Wu-Tang Clan to take action, for Karma to come back and bite him in the butt, and in a case of more, I don't know how in the world this can go any deeper, we would see the group known as Pleasure Dow actually taking the said CD after it was seized by the FBI after Martin Shkreli would be going to jail, only for that said CD to think it's in rightful hands, only for Shkreli to open his mouth and say that he made copies, for the FBI to say, well, I guess you better destroy those or before you're in more trouble with that buddy. So yeah, if you think this is far from over, I don't think so at all. Nope, no I don't. Yeah, Dan the Weatherman's do next news story, please, because I started laughing thinking about the fact that Bill Murray and the Wu-Tang Clan is really going to have to go after that man to get that CD back. Local Twitter guy gets entire collection archive series of Hanna-Barbera. That is immense. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, none other than Hanna-Barbera Cap, or better known as Hanna-Barbera Screen Caps on Twitter, would be able to collect and archive the entire Hanna-Barbera show series in existence, which is well over 192 shows. Which, if you were to sit down and try to watch all those shows, let's just say that it would take you a while, because this guy's been collecting them for well over 4 years. Technically 3, but either way you look at it, a very, very impressive collection that he was able to bring to life that even Boomerang would blush if they found out about it. Yeah, Dan the Weatherman Stu, last nominee for this year, if you will. Kid learns how to play cool guitar songs thanks to his father. Yeah, he rocks. Yeah, Dan the Weatherman Stu, he rocks indeed, because none other than Cole Parsons, a guy who we would call a prodigy at this point at 11 years old, would be able to play a whole bunch of cool guitar riffs and even play some cool old-fashioned 80 rock songs for the news team, which is awesome. And the fact that he would get shout-outs from different people from the world of rock definitely lets you know that one day this kid might be on the stage playing one of your favorite songs with a local band. I mean, hey, for those who don't believe me, Nettie Buscelli was the drummer who played stuff online and magically was playing on stage with Dave Grohl. So it's only a matter of time before this kid gets the chance to do a duet with Slash. I'm calling it right now. And speaking of calling things right now, Dan the Weatherman Stu, with all the nominees read, if you will, please read the winner for this year's Indy Story of the Year. And the winner for this year's Indy Story of the Year goes to, drumroll please. Man wins a jet from Liquid Jet. Wait a minute, I mean man wins a jet from Liquid Death. Congratulations. Wow, that's a bit of a surprise, but the fact that he would spend well over a total of, let's just say, a lot of money on 30,000 entries to win a jet and $250,000 apparently was the story popular enough, voted by you fans out there, to win an Indy Award for the Indy Story of the Year for this year. Which, yeah, I hope he can find a place after the 6-month, rental fee to find a place to put that thing, because that's going to be very noticeable in North Carolina if you park it in a hangar in your backyard, unless he owns acres. Which, hopefully he does. But besides trying to figure out if a guy owns acres in his backyard in North Carolina to park a jet, I think it's time for us to head back into those musical tunes, and when we return, we'll be back with our next award for the night, which is the Screenshot of the Year, as the 2025 11th Annual Indy Awards returns right after a word from our movie comedic sponsors. So don't miss out on your name being called for an award just yet, folks, and stay tuned. 15 years after banishing their toughest foe into a world they once created, a hacker would be able to release him from that world for him to swear revenge on their entire family. Joe Hendry, Zac Efron, and Christopher Walken as Jeremiah Third in Johnny Quest and the Revenge of Jeremiah Third. Get ready to bring reality to a whole new dimension this summer, coming soon to a theater near you. And we're back with the award show that we had to abbreviate the name of so it's not longer than the Flintstones living room, only known as the 11th Annual 2025 Indy Awards. And yeah, we really had to abbreviate that because Carl and the Maestro said we're not writing that down in the whole box for it to go across the screen like a ticker tape parade. Which is true, it happened before. And oh yeah, about that comedic movie sponsor, yeah, I didn't know his name was Jeremiah Third, not Jeremiah Surge. I always thought it was Surge all these years, and apparently Carl and the Maestro didn't correct me because they didn't have the heart to. But I guess the movie guy did. And I can't wait to see that. It's gonna have a lot of cool visual effects. But speaking of visual effects, folks, it's now time for us to make our way into our next award of the night, which is none other than the Indy Screenshot of the Year, which goes to one game that definitely proves that a picture speaks 1,000 words. Or in this case, 1,000 likes on Twitter. Or hearts. I don't know how that works, but you fans out there do. You fans out there do. So without any further ado, Dan the Weatherman Stu, if you will, please read off the nominees for this year's Indy Screenshot of the Year. And here are your nominees for this year's Indy Screenshot of the Year, baby! 2D OS Games with their said screenshot from Iron Corbo! Looks like a street merchant! You know, Dan the Weatherman Stu, I do have to agree with you with that, but after seeing the Prince and the Thimble story, or was the Attack of the Prince, or I keep forgetting the name of that classic Disney film, but after seeing that guy do a lot of stuff with Attack, Thimble, or whatever sort of device, and this guy's doing a lot with just a simple, humble broom, shows you that he does have potential of being possibly one of the greatest heroes of all time. And not to mention cleaning the streets one sweep of the leg at the time too. You know, with an actual broom. You know, a sweep with a sweep. All right, that's a terrible joke. Dan Weatherman Stu, next nominee if you will. Class 07 with their screenshot for the video game Class 07. Lot of kicks and hits. Lot of kicks and hits indeed, Dan the Weatherman Stu. And this game, which I can't remember the original name of, but got a pass this year after changing their name, finding a developer that will help them produce the game just a little bit better than they were doing before. And it shows with each screenshot they're able to deliver with every kick, punch, and even sugar rush of a tiger knee that's able to be pulled off at a moment's notice during any of the games they're able to do. Or, you know, hits that they're able to bring. In cool fashion, too. And oh, look, another tiger knee. Next nominee, Dan the Weatherman Stu, or should I say next nominee? You know, shut up. You know, just bring the next nominee. Ross Games with their set game of SPGP. What does that stand for? Well, Dan the Weatherman Stu, that actually stands for the Super Polygon Grand Prix. And a game with the screenshots that they were able to provide that brings me back to the simpler times of Ridge Racer or one of those old N64 Formula Grand Prix games definitely shows that this game is absolutely awesome. And not to mention, in certain parts of it, you'll be racing against Tyrannosauruses and I guess those other dinosaurs that are featured too, which according to Carl and the Maestro is a Stegosaurus. I didn't know you were a dinosaur aficionado, but whatever. Doku Games with their said screenshot for the video game A Work in Progress. Haha, nice shotgun work. Nice shotgun work indeed, Dan Waterman Stu, because like I say all the time around here, you can never go wrong with shotguns in video games. And this guy clearly proves it with not only having infrared cloaking abilities to actually scan the targets, to shoot them from a distance, but also being able to power slide and do some John Woo stuff to get the job done in a shooting-like environment. Always used to remind me of not only Ghost in the Shell, but a heavy hit of Deus Ex in there too, which is always a cool thing to see. Previous Indy Award winner Captain Sig with his said game of Shady Night. Can he win it again? Well, Dan the Weatherman Stu, I really hope he can, because this game was absolutely awesome to mention all the way up until the day it was released. And after checking out so many people play this game online, comparing it to a combination of not only super hot, but with a little hint of Dishonored, yeah, it definitely lived up to all the hype that the screenshot was able to deliver, but I'd like to see it win another Indie Award. I hate to be biased, but I would love to see it win another. Play Spy with their said screenshot for the video game Play Spy. John Woo Kung Fu. Hey, I didn't know you knew anything about John Woo or Kung Fu, but that definitely describes this game to a T, with a little hit of Batman Arkham Asylum in there, and a game that reminded me of my friend Pedro Blood, Bullets, and Bananas, only in 3D. Bringing shotgun and other sort of ballistic madness into the world that I hope to see make its way to a console before the end of the year. And hopefully it gets an Indie Award for it too. See, more bias. Lazy Flock Studio with their said game of Haunted Paws. Well, I'll be doggone. Well, Dan Weatherman Stu, if I were you, I would not be doggone in this situation, because it would see a couple of dogs trying to solve crimes, reminding me of Mystery Inc. if they were all in dog-like form. And the best part about it is, folks, they even come with adorable hats while they solve mysteries. Now, ain't that cute? Well, ain't that cute? But the spider I can do without, I'll just say that much. Ooh, a spider. Why No Ham with their screenshot for the video game of Gunmetal Gothic. Heavy metal shooting in 2D. Well, Dan Weatherman Stu, you're a portion right with that. It is heavy metal shooting, but it's more or less in 3D. Reminding me a lot of The Third Birthday, a game I played for the PSP, with a whole bunch of crazy screenshots and creatures lurking throughout the streets that looks a little bit Crown Victorian, but nevertheless, still a lot of fun to be had for it. Mouse the Game with their said screenshot of Mouse. 1920 cartoon violence. Yeah, you know what, Dan the Weatherman Stu, you're right. And what do you know about 1920 cartoons? I used to watch it when I was a kid. Yeah, same here. But in this case, folks, a mouse that's able to cause trouble outside of your house and take it to other mice with cartoon dynamite, Tommy guns, shotguns, and other type of guns, and even have a whirly-gig of a device, definitely shows that all the cartoon watching paid off for this game. Now, all he needs is a giant oversized anvil and a black hole that he can use to teleport to other places. Then this will be Crime in Toontown, which I got a feeling might be the sequel to Who Framed Roger Rabbit. Carl and I sure write that down. That's a good idea. Hustling Game with their said screenshot for the video game of Hustling. Those creatures creep me out in that tunnel. Yeah, Dan the Weatherman Stu, they creep me out too, but the fact that this screenshot, in more ways than one, reveals not only stuff that reminds me of things from The Last of Us, but other crazy things that you can find in a tunnel and bring to a topside angle to help you find your way out of it, it's definitely an impressive game that I will play from a distance. And I'm not just saying that because my screen is distant from my computer, mostly because some of those creatures have spikes. You might want to beware of those. And I guess with all those nominees read, folks, it's now time for us to find out who's going to be this year's Indie Screenshot of the Year. Dan the Weatherman Stu, if you will, please read the winner for the award. Yeah, now. All right. And the winner for this year's Screenshot of the Year goes to... Drum roll, please. Well, it's not gonna be the game you want, DJ Smokey, but it's a new one, none other than Hostling Game with their said screenshot for the video game of Hostling. Congratulations. Wow. A game we actually mentioned toward the beginning of the year, or technically around the month of sports, and mentioned last year but never made contingency, actually was able to win an Indie Award for this year thanks to you indie voters out there on the Twitterverse. Congratulations indeed. And I can't wait to see where this game is going to head by the next following year with whatever sort of creepy Markland Beast type creatures that will come from it. And including the hope of no spiders for that, because like I said before, I'm not a fan of spiders. I hate spiders, man. I hate spiders. But besides my hate for spiders, folks, I think it's time for us to make our way directly on over toward those cool musical tunes once again. And when we return, we'll be back with our third award for the night, which is none other than the Blacksmoke Billy Stunt of the Year Award, right after a word from our movie comedic sponsors. So don't head to the concession stand for a refill of popcorn just yet, folks, and stay tuned. This summer, 13 years after searching for his brother's murderers, he knocks on their front doorstep looking for revenge with plenty of weapons. Randy Couture, Quentin Rampage Jackson, Jason Statham, Jackie Chan, John Cena, Dave Bautista, and Rob Van Dam as the Wolf in Expendables 5, The Revenge of the Wolf. Prepare to deal with the wrath of a wolf this summer, coming soon to a theater near you. Right, all you risk takers and backbreakers out there, welcome back to the 2025 11th Annual Indie Awards. And if they do come up with another expendable film, two things. One, I want credit for that ad thanks to the guy who was able to pull it off. And if I can't, oh well, at least I put it out in the universe. And secondly, for that film, I got a feeling they're gonna need a lot of stuntmen to be featured for it. And don't you worry out there, Hollywood. I think we got a couple here tonight. Because now it's time for us to find out who's going home with the Blacksmoke Billy Stunt of the Year Award, which is an award given to a singular stunner that definitely proves, just like the guy who said it many years ago, and we keep mentioning him over and over again. Yeah, I got skills. What you gonna do about it? And apparently nothing, according to Carl and my show in the PR department, who's here to judge for this year's Stunt of the Year Award winner. Yeah, apparently this year they decided that the best stunt is going to be given to the one with the most thumbs up or hearts or likes or whatever. It's their voting system. I'll leave it to them. But I'll leave it to Dan the Weatherman Stu to read off the nominees for this year's Blacksmoke Billy Stunt of the Year. Dan the Weatherman Stu, the floor is yours. Wallaber with their said stunt for the video game of Wallaber. Dan the Weatherman Stu, aren't you forgetting something? What, I think I said everything I needed to say. No, you missed out of saying, the usual. Oh yeah, you're right. Let's try that again. And here are your nominees for this year's Blacksmoke Billy Stunt of the Year Award. There you go. All right. And the first stunt we got up comes from none other than Wallaber with their said stunt of Parking Garage Rally Circuit. Do a barrel roll. Yeah, Dan the Weatherman Stu, he definitely did one hell of a barrel roll, at least 3 of them in reverse while power sliding down a parking lot and actually landing on the other side like his love. Not only proving that he doesn't need all-weather tires to actually drive in a parking lot, he needs a roll cage instead. In a very impressive fashion, too. And oh, before I forget, also nominated for a stunt where he was able to high-five the side of a garage wall and actually land in the side of a parking spot once again, like his love. Which is always impressive in our books. Tristan Cole, or aka El Canet, with their said stunt for the video game Tristan Cole Pro Driver. A lot of crazy stunts from a driver who's everything but a pro. Hey, Dan Weatherman Stu, that's not nice. Just because this person decides to actually pull off a Chrysler on the hood of a car while doing barrel rolls, or even check an oil change, or make an oil change while pulling off a 360 in mid-flight and still able to land on their feet and put Sega to shame with crazy taxi stunts outside of a crazy taxi, like what Calling the Maestro, like his love, does not mean they're not a pro driver. I mean, it's even on their license plate if you look on it carefully enough, if it isn't flying around too crazy enough, right? You know what I mean? Julia from the video game of Tricky Madness. The crush of the PR department and Calling the Maestro. Well, you're right about that, Dan the Weatherman Stu, and I'm a little bit worried about their decision-making skills with the fact that they're allowed to vote on the winner of this award. But at the same time, not really that worried, because if she does win, look at the crazy moves this woman is able to pull at well over 165 miles per hour. Not only being able to pull off gyroscopes, guillotines, torpedoes, ninja starfish, even a lazy Susan if she's able to pull it off while sliding on a rail and still able to land on her feet, like what Calling the Maestro? Like his love. And I swear that'll be the last time we say that tonight, because we got plenty of that to say down the road, especially with her smooth skills that'll definitely pay your bills. The animals from the video game of Slope Crashers. Bye-bye, Parrot. Yeah, Dan the Weatherman Stu, I couldn't decide which one of these crazy animals could get an award tonight. It could be Petey Penguin. It could be Ricky the Raccoon. It could be the twins on the board doing spins and having not a care in the world. But either way you look at it, folks, it definitely proves that not only humans can pull off crazy stunts, so can animals. Sharu Dev with their said screenshot for the video game of Flex Riders. Micro machines with big action. Yeah, that's right, Dan Weatherman and Stu. Anytime you get a chance to see a car pull off a double kickflip 180, grapple onto another car and pull off a backflip and still try to get in first place while throwing a bomb at somebody, definitely deserves to be mentioned and be a part of the Indy Awards for the night. But can it win him an award? We'll have to wait and see. Who knows? Who knows? the monster truck from Big America RC. Got a feeling that's Tycho in front of it. Yeah, Dan What a Man Stu, I would have to say the same, because anybody who is able to do a moonsault, land on their wheels, and repeatedly go from hand to foot to finally get their balance and land on their wheels. And I lied about what I said earlier because it was like love, is definitely impressive in our books. And not to mention, makes me wonder how in the world he did not fly out of that truck when he was doing all those flips. I guess it's an inside trader secret. For its Raptor with their said Stunt for the video game of a work in progress. I've lost the name. Yeah, that happens a lot around here, Dan What a Man Stu, but at the same time, anytime you get a car from Cruising USA that is able to do kick flips and aerial McVarials on an open highway road, all while trying to race to the next checkpoint, definitely deserve to be a part of the Indy Awards for their crazy stunt. And was that a bus they just knocked out of the way? And Carl and the Maestro in the PR department said yes, and are making a note of it. The femme fatales in the sky themselves, Vinewood on fire! The champion placeholders of this award. You know, Dan the Weatherman Stu, I would have to agree. These guys are the torchbearers and the owners of the Vinewood Academy Stunt School that they were able to open thanks to winning the award one many a moon ago. But will this said award send them off to the stratosphere where they will try to do some form of crazy moonsault in? We'll find out in due time. Lonely Mountains with their set stunt for the video game of Lonely Mountains. Look out below. Look out below indeed, because anybody who is crazy enough to jump off the side of Mount Kilimanjaro from my viewpoint and able to pull off a moonsault without breaking their knees definitely proves that they got the skills to pay the bills. But at the same time, with them being nominated for a Golden Cast Award, proves that sometimes jumping off the top of these does come with a lot of risk. And with all those nominees out of the way, oh wait, according to Carl and the Mike Show, we have one more, which is Dan the Weatherman Stu. Falling Tree Games with their set stunt for the video game of The Precinct. Flying Hawaiian 5-0. I see what you did there. But it's not in Hawaii, but we'll accept it because it's cool. Just like the fact that they were able to jump in slow motion, barrel their way directly onto a road, and be able to actually stop crime by doing some cool stunts and almost bring a guy over. But we're not going to count that at all because, you know, that's not reckless driving in any way, shape, or form if a cop does it. And with that said, Dan What a Man Stu, if you will, please read the winner of this year's Blacksmoke Billy Stunt of the Year Award, Lee. And the winner for this year's Stunt of the Year goes to, drum roll, please. A two-way tie between the femme fatales of the sky, Vinewood on Fire, and Julia for the video game of Tricky Madness. Congratulations. Congratulations indeed, and the only reason they both tied is because not only, let's just say the fans were split between the two, and so was Carl and the Maestro and the PR department over in the corner. So to both of them being co-winners this year of the award, we came prepared for this. We made two separate awards for the both of you. So congratulations and represent it proudly. And I'm being told by Carl and the Maestro over at the camp of Julia and for apparently Vinewood on Fire, their camps are both celebrating. Not bad. And apparently Julia was in the studio and That's why Carl and the Maestro and the PR department left right now. Real professional, guys. Real professional. Well, while I try to rope those two clowns, or several of those clowns, in back to this circus that they should be a part of, I think it's time for us to head back into that music once again. And when we return, we'll be back with the next award of the night, which is none other than the Golden Cast Award, as the 2025 11th Annual Indy Awards rolls on right after a word from our movie comedic sponsors. So don't head on over to that concession stand just yet, folks, and stay tuned. This summer, 10 contestants, 3 judges, 12 doors, and 1 grand prize waiting for them at the other side of it. Carl and the Maestro and special guest judge Chuck Norris in The Key Fighters. Unlock your potential and a prize grander than most this summer, coming soon to a theater near you. Alright, all you human crash test dummies and those who were crazy enough to try to listen to your friend that you can jump over that canyon, welcome back to the 11th Annual 2025 Indy Awards. And speaking of ideas that are terrible, but at the same time got picked up by Netflix somehow, congratulations to Carl and the Maestro, and of course to the PR department getting their show picked up of Key Fighters, which I got a feeling somebody is going to get really hurt during that show when they find out one of the final doors is made out of alloy steel. I think I wasn't supposed to reveal that, but at the same time, they better know ahead of time before they try to punch or kick that thing with their bare feet. I'm just saying. Well, besides warning people before they get hurt, and speaking of people that did get hurt, it's time for us to go into our next award of the night, which is none other than the Golden Cast Award, which is an award awarded to one person who proved that they got maimed for unnecessary fame and found out real quick that sometimes if you flip around, you'll find out that it hurts when you miss. So if you will, Dan the Weatherman Stu, please read off the winners for this year's, or winners, losers technically if you look at it. Read off the nominees for this year's Golden Cast Award, if you will. 80 level with their set came of Storor, or Storor Parkour Pro. That looked like it hurt. Oh yeah, it looked like it hurt alright, and for those who can't see it at home, let's just say that little Bobby here who decided the best idea after school was to parkour his way across a building, found out real quick that, yeah, sometimes you gotta look before you leap, because he would hit his face against a pole and fall approximately, well, that looks like about 2 stories down to the floor and landing on his knees. Ouch! Ouch! And yeah, let's just say that he would not be able to recover from that said injury, and he's still in the hospital to this day with 2 shattered knees and apparently a broken tailbone, and I got a feeling his spirit might be broken too, but it's just the beginning of things. Just saying. Then you have none other than Ubicito V Trial with their set Stunt of Casita Fenatira and BMX. I can't read Spanish. Well, nor can I, Dan Weatherman Stu, nor can I, but I can understand the word pain, especially when you're in downtown Los Santos, thinking that you can jump into the LS River and thinking that gravity is going to be your friend while you're trying to pull off a moonsault. And this guy would find out real quick that no, just no. And yeah, let's just say the back of his head would hit the concrete and he would forget colors after that. And according to Carl and the Maestro, not only colors, but also would just forget his name altogether. Yikes. Yikes. Corito 110 with their set Stunt of Project 188. That looks like a painful stunt. Yes, Dan the Weatherman Stu, it really is a painful stunt. And as a matter of fact, the truck driver behind the truck who was driving that said truck is still about as crispy as an overcooked hot dog at a cookout being left unattended. And the people who were involved in that said explosion flew in 8 different directions like somebody playing marble after school. Or marbles. Like the marbles that they lost while trying to perform that stunt for the movie that apparently is going to be coming out this summer, according to Carl and the Maestro. Nice, nice. Vinewood on fire with their set Stunt of Truck to Truck. What the truck is this? Well, Dan the Weatherman Stu, if you're wondering what the truck is this, I'll answer it simply because Vinewood on Fire, the femme fatale of the sky that she is, had a great idea of trying to jump from truck to truck or have a truck balance on a truck while on top of a truck as all trucks went off the side of a cliff. And I was about to say a trip, but yeah, they did take a trip off a cliff that caused Vinewood on Fire an Achilles sprain and a broken back. Yeah. And for those wondering out there, yes, she did get buried under the truck, but luckily for her, her parachute on her back saved her. But what she really needed besides a parachute was a paramedic and a psychologist for pulling off this crazy stunt. Smirk taking up front with their set Stunt of Boat Stunt 2. Look out below. Look out below indeed, Dan Weatherman Stu, because during this Pacific Coast party that went southwest in a hurry, we would see 4 people try to dive off the side of a boat and find out that maybe you need to look before you leap. It's another one of those classic examples. And the proof of that would be when they tried to dive off the boat for the final stunt for this film, and just about 3 of them got cooked like a hot dog out in the summer. So, yeah, once again proves look before you leap, and according to the doctors, they're still applying skin ointment on them right now, and the skin graft is finally starting to heal. But didn't this stunt take place in August? Yeah, and he said they're still recovering from it. Alright? Drunk Motorsports by Poison 47 Jaded. Don't drink and drive. Well, that's a wonderful PSA, Dan the Weatherman Stu, and also very helpful advice for this guy, because I got a feeling he was drunk while pulling off this stunt. Because anybody who would try to make that jump from the LS freeway over to the other side of the LS freeway with that tiny lip out for the said street will find out real quick that motorcycles are not meant to jump that, and now doesn't matter how evil and Evel Knievel you are to try to pull it off. Yeah, that's the way to describe it. And with all those nominees read, Dan Weatherman Stu, if you will, please read the unfortunate winner for this year's Golden Cast Award. And the winner for this year's Golden Cast Award goes to, drum roll please, unbelievable, it goes to none other than Drunk Motorsports by Poison 47 Jaded. Congratulations. Congratulations indeed, Drunk Motorsports, because, yeah, apparently according to the doctors, he is paralyzed from the neck down ever since that stunt. But at the same time was still able to finish off the stunt and is actually here in attendance borrowing Ricky the Raccoon's wheelchair. But hey, hey, hold on, folks, hold on. Hey, man, here you go. Here's the award, right here on the desk, right there. There you go, buddy, right there. All right. Hopefully that wheelchair brings you some good luck, so you can actually, get back on your feet within the next, 6 to 19 months, according to what the doctor said. Yeah, you'll be fine. You'll be fine. And yes, that golden cast really does work over as a neck brace. Ask Ricky the Raccoon. He'll let you know. Well, besides having a live award attendee here in Music Village headquarters, watch out for the stairs. Ooh. I forgot to tell him this place wasn't wheelchair accessible, but who got him up the stairs? Which one of you got him up the stairs to be up here? PR department? Really? I told you to use the ramp. There's a ramp on the side. Use the ramp. The ramp. Well, while we call an ambulance to clean up this mess, folks, I think it's time for us to head back to that music once again. And when we return, we'll be back for our final award of the night. None other than the GTA Online Track of the Year. Right after a word from our movie comedic sponsors. So don't go dialing 911 yet for him, just yet, and stay tuned.
Six years after the Peachtree apartment incident, one man and a new division of cops looks to clean the city up once and for all. Olivia Thirlby and Carl Urban as Judge Dredd in Dredd 2, The New Law. Get ready to be judged this summer, coming soon to a theater near you.
Right, all you graveyard shift racers out there tonight, welcome back to the 11th annual 2025 Indy Awards. And Carl and the Maestro said for night 2, we're just gonna call it the Indy Awards. All right? And about that previous movie sponsor, I'm pretty sure that movie's gonna have one hell of a soundtrack, and I can only imagine what in the world the Sci-Force is gonna be for that. And Carl and the Maestro said stop revealing the plot of the movie that's going to be coming out in another 4 years. Well, knowing our luck and our track record, it will be. And speaking of track records, folks, I think it's time for us to go into the final award for the night. None other than the GTA Online Track of the Year. Which proves that out of well over 500 tracks that was mentioned throughout this calendar year, your tracks stand out the most as one of the best of the best of the best. And yes, Carl and the Maestro, I did get that from Men in Black. And so, leave me alone. Leave me alone. So without any further ado, damn the Weatherman Stew, if you will, please read off the 5 nominees for this year's GTA Online Top 5 Tracks of the Year. I always wanted to do this, DJ Smokey. Everybody at home, get ready and rev your engines, cause it's time for the nominees for the GTA Online Top 5 Tracks of the Year. Not bad. And the first nominee is Kamachi with his track of the CMJ Stunt Race 3.5. Still alive. Well, yeah, I would be surprised if you were alive during this track too, especially with all the crazy wall rides, jumps, thrills, chills, and spills that can happen during this very race with only a select few cars, but still a lot of fun to be had. over the Grand Sonora Desert, or more or less near Trevor's Airfield, for those who don't know where that is. But nevertheless, folks, an awesome track nonetheless. Marty 68 with their track of the T68 ONHD Long Haul. The longest track we've got tonight. Dan the Weatherman Stu, not exactly the longest track we've got tonight, but it is possibly one of the longest point-to-point races we mentioned in history, with well over 31.21 kilometers of a wacky race that you'll be racing from one side to the other side of the hemisphere, getting a world tour perspective of Los Santos from this awesome racetrack. And I almost forgot to mention the name of the track is the T68 OHND Long Haul. But either way you look at it, one hell of a title for one hell of a track. IG Stunner with their track of the 23-mile stunt race. Haha. Into. Well, Dan the Weatherman Stu, not exactly a full tube race, but a race with tubes nonetheless, including a massive one that reminded me of the McDonald's slip and slide that they had. You know, that big, giant, oversized slide at McDonald's? Reminds me of that. Really does. But with plenty of cars to be had for a 37.58 kilometer race, and technically being one of the longest races we were able to mention, definitely is a race that'll definitely get your motor running and definitely keeping you entertained at all times. And Carl and the Maestro said, if we say definitely one more time, we're going to turn into Mutts from Rita and Mutts. Well, definitely a fun race if you want to race in it. Definitely. True Rotor Racer with their track of the TMR Long Haul. A lot of long races made it to the Indy Awards this year. Yes, that's right, Dan the Weatherman Stu. A very long and very insane race with a litany list of cars to be featured during it, and a lot of surprises that we left out during the regular review for this race. But the only race we've ever seen that goes through not only Los Santos, the Grand Sonora Desert, downtown, Mount Chiliad, and even to the Sandy Shores, proving that this race really does go from the river to the sea and to the concrete and beyond. JDM Prodigy with their track of the highway circuit. Take to the highway, don't you tell me your name. Okay, you got the lyrics wrong, one. And two, a highway circuit race that definitely surprised me, because the last time we seen somebody with a highway race like this would be Petey Pan Mofo. And even though this doesn't involve you going on the off-ramp back on in a figure 8 formation, definitely a crazy race that reminded me a lot of Ridge Racer from back in the day, and definitely an awesome race for you to race on at a moment's notice to settle whatever sort of grudge you have. And with the added bonus of not dealing with traffic, police, or pedestrians. You know, the 3 Ps that could possibly ruin a race. And with all those nominees read, Dan the Weatherman Stu, if you will, please read the winner for the 9th annual GTA Online Top Track of the Year. All right. And the winner for this year's Track of the Year goes to, drum roll please, this one's a bit of a shocker. It goes to none other than True Motor Racer with their set track of the TMR Long Haul. Congratulations. Wow. Another newcomer smoking out all of the rest of the competition to become the Track of the Year for the 9.0 series. making him eligible for Track of the Decade by next year. But before we put the cart in front of the horse, folks, I think it's time for us to put that horse on the back of that cart and mosey our way on out of here and bring night one to the Indy Awards for this year to an emphatic close. But don't worry, if you miss any of this award action we were able to give you for tonight, we got you covered, because you can catch this Indy Awards once again, one more time, all the time, on our SoundCloud, Facebook, Instagram, and Tumblr pages that are still all named the same, only known as Music Village Radio under the hashtag 2025 Indy Awards Night 1, or N1. I don't know. We're still trying to work out a full title that will fit in the box, but that's the best we got. And if you guys and gals out there want to figure out what the crazy and zany things we still got prepared for these 28 days of greatness, like a great award show that we split into 2 nights with a whole bunch of award-winning delight, then you can go ahead and head on over to our Discord, YouTube, and Twitter pages, still all named the same, only known as DOO Agent 0012. Before we head out for the night, we would like to thank, as always, you the fans out there for listening in to a very special Night 1 spectacular edition of the Indy Awards. Like always, guys, if you like what you heard, go out there and spread the word. You know what? Like Jake in My Gym Partner's a Monkey after he took out Jake with a boxing spring glove. Yeah, you know the PR department knows where I'm going with this one, and they're giving me the thumbs up for it too. And at the same time has the same spring-loaded boxing glove that they call the Equalizer. What, did you borrow that from the mayor of Townsville? And they're saying no, but putting it behind their back and trying to throw it out the window. Don't do that. It'll spring and hit somebody. Just keep it out of here. And we would also like to thank you, the independent artists out there, for doing that musical goodness like you always do. And keep up the great work, guys. And here's hoping your awesome music gets featured for one of these awards. And I got a feeling it might have, because we still got another night to go. So chances are it might be featured for an award. Who knows? And why do we believe that, folks? Because we believe you guys. That's why. That's why. And speaking of people's music we were able to believe in to have a part of this show, we would like to thank our musical guest for tonight, none other than Tekno AXE with his set songs of Epic Road Scream that was featured during the intro for the Indy Awards. And of course, the song you're listening to right now of Until Your Engine Stops, Gasoline, that is currently bringing us out for the night 1 of the Indy Awards. Like always, Tekno AXE, keep up the great work, and we can't wait to hear what you got coming down the tubes next. And according to Call of the Maestro, we might have to call him back for night 2, and you're right. And finally, last but not least, we would like to thank you, the independent gamers out there, for delivering all those sweet video game hits, clips, tracks, and stunts that we had a chance to mention throughout this entire year, and bringing it to the echelon point for this year's Indy Awards. And congratulations to all the winners and all the people that made this award show possible. And yeah, I almost lost my words there, because yeah, this award show would not be possible without you indie gamers out there and all the stories and everything else we ran across for this year. So give yourselves a round of applause if you were able to be mentioned at least for the Indy Awards, or if you got nominated, because that's a big thing around here. So can't wait to see what you bring around the tubes or down the tubes next time when we have an Indy Awards. And you never know what show might be coming around the corner next where you could get nominated. So keep them coming. Hint. And I guess with everybody thanked, you guys out there we go out. I'm DJ Smokey on behalf of Carl and the Maestro. Dan the Weatherman Stu, the PR department, and the doctor still helping out the person who won the Golden Cast Award get out of here saying, I am the greatest. But most importantly, when there's smoke, there's fire. And we'll see you guys tomorrow night for the second night of the 2025 11th Annual Indy Awards. But until then, good night, everybody.